On this episode of the How to Protect the Ocean podcast, we're going to talk about why some marine protected areas are failing sharks. A protected area without enforcement is really just a map. It's a paper park. And if you care about staying informed on the ocean every weekday, hit that follow button right now so you don't miss tomorrow's story. So here's the situation. Here's what we've discovered. Here's what's happened. Shark populations are declining in some MPAs. There was a study that was done with silky sharks, and it was tracking silky sharks around an MPA. It's a highly mobile predator, and it demonstrates serious gaps in MPA effectiveness. So essentially, these silky sharks were tracked by satellite tags, and researchers found that they spent significant time outside of marine protected areas, even if MPAs existed in their range. So while MPAs in the Galapagos Marine Reserves do offer some refuge, the sharks often travel beyond the safe zones into areas where intense industrial fishing happens, especially purse seines and long lines target tuna, where bycatch and fin trade risk remains high. So having, these sharks in a marine protected area either tells you one thing. These sharks go beyond the borders, so the borders have to be bigger. And a lot of times when you're protecting sharks, you see these massively large MPAs happen, but they have to because they have to encapsulate the entire range of the shark. Now, we're just talking about silky sharks. We're not talking about any other types of sharks. We know great whites, we know thresher sharks. A lot of other sharks have very large migration ranges. And so certain MPAs have to be built for these types of sharks. Illegal and unregulated fishing persists within these marine protected areas, and highly migratory species cross these MPA boundaries all of the time, not just sharks, but we have, whales, sea turtles, all these different types of species that will actually do that. MPAs often fail to protect mobile predators. We just talked about that. Enforcement gaps are reduced. This is found in another study from Nature Communications. And fishing pressure often concentrates along the borders, which we've talked about in past episodes, but I'll reaffirm this. In Argentina, just off the coast of Argentina, there's a squid species that is highly sustainably fished within the exclusive economic zone of Argentina. But along the border of that exclusive economic zone, you'll often see fishing fleets that line up at certain times of the season when they know that these squid will come across that exclusive economic zone. And of course, that border is imaginary. It's not a physical border. So these boats can come in across that EEZ zone or EEZ line and then come back and then fish whatever they want. Enforcement has to be taken, but it's very difficult to do enforcement when you have such a long area or such a large area to enforce.